Yo, what's up everybody? How's everyone doing? Can y'all hear me all right? What's up? How's everyone doing? Keep getting this same message. Sorry about that, guys. Can you guys hear me? Volume okay? Audio okay? All right. We live. All right, cool. So what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Trader Main back here again with another video. Sorry. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Hope everyone's holding up all right after this little dumperoonie we had the last day or so. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the markets. Do the whole usual Bitcoin, Ethereum thing. We'll cover some altcoins. I'm gonna try and keep today's video about like an hour. I've been doing a lot of these videos I've been going hard for almost 6 months now, maybe even more. First video was in August, September, November, December, January, February. So almost 7 months. And they've been like 2 hours of video. And I feel like, I don't know, you guys can tell me. I feel like 2 hours is a little long. Not just for you guys, but for me. It's a little bit of a burnout. By the end of the second hour, I'm pretty fried. So I don't know. You guys let me know if you like the 2 hour streams where I'm just going ham. I'll keep doing those. But if you would rather that I, try and divvy it up, do maybe an hour video on Sundays and then do another, shorter video sometime midweek, maybe that might be better. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep today's video under an hour, and then, we'll just go from there. Yeah, so looking forward to this one. So gonna do the standard Ethereum, Bitcoin to start, and then we'll go into any questions you guys might have. I'm gonna try and not cover stuff that I've covered, to the nth degree in the last handful of videos, like the alt BTC ratio. I know I seem to go over that every fucking video because it's important, but if you haven't figured that out yet, go watch some of my old videos. Okay. So what's up? Buy the dip. We got Chad here. What's up, Chad? BTC Breakout. Yeah, so it looks like BTC, the CME gapped up, right? As soon as CME opened green, we started pumping. So not a bad sign, obviously. I do think the low is in for now. I don't know if the low is in for good, but at least for now, I think we're going to have some relief after, pretty relentless selling for the last couple of days. If Maine brings out the neck, the bottom is in. I don't know. Does this count as the neck being out? No tank top, no spray tan till 100K. Okay. Bottom is in, getting in reps, bidding this up to 48. FBTC reversal. Apes are strong together. Apes strong together. We all know this. Hopefully no fake out. I think your prime. You think the link for prime is broken? Okay, I'll have to take a look. What's up, Gandalf? What's up, Chad? What's up, Dixie Normus? What's up, M5? Sammy, what's up, dude? LM, I am here. Where is you? This is not financial advice. You know better. What's up, Democryptus? What's up, everybody? Okay, tons of people. 300 viewers. This is awesome. Okay, so as usual, thanks to Prime for hooking it up, sponsoring me to put these videos on. Show them some love. Use the link in the description to join. I will try and figure out if it's broken. If someone else could try the link and tell me if it's broken or not, let me know. But I'll try and get that fixed if it is broken. But shout out to them for putting this on. This is Ethereum and Chill every Sunday, 3 p.m. PST. Obviously, nothing I talk about here is financial advice. So, do your own research. Be careful when investing in these magical internet beans. So, we're going to start with Bitcoin, and then we will go to Ethereum. Then we'll do Ethereum BTC, and then I'll take some suggestions from the chat. If you want to leave some likes on the video, that would be much appreciated. We got to get that YouTube algorithm on my side so I can stop trading and just make YouTube videos for a living, because that's way more fun, way less stressful for me. Don't have to risk any of my own money. Can just sit here, make YouTube videos for the homies, maybe play some video games. Sounds pretty good. So, let's see if we can get like 100 likes here or something. So, starting with Bitcoin, pretty straightforward for me. I mean, looking at the weekly, obviously, huge bearish engulfing candle. Now, something I want to kind of dispel is that a bearish engulfing candle means the end of the bull run, right? So, bearish engulfing candle is not good. Technically, this is not a true bearish engulfing candle because we did not also take out the high, right? So if you look at on Investopedia or Baby Pips, whatever, a true bearish engulfing candle engulfs the entire candle. So the high to the low. We have not done that here. Still, this is an ugly weekly candle. Last time we had a candle like this was here. I've seen a few people post this fractal being like, oh shit, it's over. We're done. The bear market's starting, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. I disagree. We had several instances of bearish engulfing candles where price continued to rally. Here is an example of one. So I don't think that this is by any means the end of the bull market. So let me make that very clear. I do not. Here's another one, right? Bearish engulfing candle. This is a true bearish engulfing candle. Took out the top and the bottom. We did sell off further, but then we continued. And I've also seen this fractal a few times, being like, oh, we're just here or we're just here. I think fractals are dumb. I think most of the people who use fractals have no idea what they're doing. They just say, hey, this kind of looks like this, and therefore this must happen. People seem to forget all that really matters is context, patterns, fractals, anything you're looking for. Context matters first. What is the context around the setup? If you're looking for a head and shoulders pattern, great. Does it make sense contextually in terms of where we are in price, like at a potential swing high or swing low, a point of reversal, right? So fractals can be good. You know, Kaleo, for example, Crypto Kaleo is a guy I like, and he uses fractals, but he uses them contextually in that he's not just saying, hey, it looks like we're here in price. What he'll be doing is looking for, you know, price to be breaking out, and then he'll find a fractal of a similar, you know, kind of breakout pattern to occur. Right? So there are good uses for fractals, but I think most people use fractals and they go, this looks like this, so therefore we're going up next. And what kind of actionable information do you get from that? In my opinion, shit, fuck all. So I'm not trying to peg this being like, this looks like this, therefore this is going to happen. This is a bearish candle generally, but to me, I don't think we need to worry about it signaling the end of the bull market. If you're looking at the weekly chart, right, weekly market structures here. I know that's really far away, right? It's really far away. But technically, the weekly will not have made a lower low until way the fuck down here. I'm not saying that if you should hold your crypto all the way down here to find out it's eventually a bear market, you can zoom in and find out sooner. But that is the market structure level on the weekly. If you look at the 20K top, right? The market structure level that confirmed that the weekly market structure was broken, it didn't happen until here at 11K. That's almost a 50% haircut off the top. Very similar to what we're seeing here, right? 50% off the top, you find that the weekly is broken market structure, right? So a lot of shit can happen, and as long as this low kind of got held, we could have seen another leg up. Obviously, you can then zoom in and find, a lower time frame market structure level that you're cutting your trades at, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, I don't think that just because this is a very ugly looking candle that it necessarily means that the bull market is over. I think that's a little bit of a stretch just based on where we are from a fundamental perspective, from a chart perspective. I don't think it's over yet. That's just my personal opinion. I could be absolutely wrong. Maybe we're going to see some sort of huge correction here and Tesla's going to get dumped on and Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey, they're all going to get fucked. I don't know. All right, I'm not trying to be predictive with what's going to happen 6 months from now. I'm more interested in just playing this thing level to level, and I'm leaning bullish based on the high time frame, but I'm very quick on the trigger to flip my bias and if I think that I'm wrong. But I still think we look okay. I mean, this is obviously not a great weekly candle. I am expecting some relief, at least early in the week. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see at, kind of New York Open tomorrow what the stock market looks like. If the stock market looks ugly, I expect Bitcoin to sell off further. And any sort of bounce that we have today, could easily get erased very quickly, very early in the week. But let's hope for relief. There are some signs pointing to potential relief. There's also the talks of stimulus getting passed. So that generally has meant, continuation of up only, for the stock market and consequently for other risk assets such as Bitcoin. So leaning bullish still, but trying to be logical about it. I'm not going to be just some blind bull who's like, this can only go up. We have to hit 100K. We have to do this. Bitcoin could go to 0 tomorrow and I'd still be totally okay. I wouldn't love it, but I would be fine, right? And I think the problem is a lot of people would not be. If Bitcoin went to 0, if Bitcoin started a new bear market, they would be fucked. And that's why it has to go up, right? Once you start getting into that mindset of it has to do this, it has to do that, that's usually when you lose some money. Price doesn't have to do anything. So just looking at the weekly, most obvious area for me of interest for buying is here. I don't know if we're going to come here. I'm not saying we're going to come here, right? But this is the only weekly demand on the chart. This is where this last leg of price action began. This is the point of origin. This is the weekly demand. This is the weekly bullish order block, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So to me, this is a no-brainer buy area for spot, for low leverage longs, or on the low time frame, hunting for a long, swing longs, whatever. If we get there, I'm buying it. I don't know if we will. If we do, that's where I'm interested in getting involved. So we came just shy of a kind of previous all-time high retest here. The low on this candle was 2553, 42,553. The previous all-time high was about $400 below that. So it came just shy of that kind of previous all-time high retest. Do we dip lower? I don't fucking know. Zooming in a little bit, you have a little bit of like a fair value gap here, volume inefficiency, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But essentially you had this candle that had only upward price action here. There was no downward price action between this candle and this candle's low and this candle's high. So we've come in and we've spiked into that candle a bit, filled in a bit of this volume gap, this imbalance. Not all the way, and it doesn't have to be filled in fully, but oftentimes this can be an area that kind of attracts price to get filled in later. You'll have these kind of inefficient up moves, right? And then they'll come and get filled in. I'm trying to see if I can spot one here for you. They'll come and get filled in before price kind of continues on its journey. If I can find one, I'll show you one later. But no reason to assume that we're not getting good absorption here just based on the wicks, right? So we had this long wick here, and then what we formed in the last kind of day is also a very long lower wick that's closing back up. So you're looking at the daily, right? We've got multiple sweeps of levels here that are showing that price is being absorbed here, whether that is someone actively bidding this area because they're accumulating orders. I don't know. I'm not an order flow trader. I'm not looking at the order book. I'm not trying to make sense of being like, oh, this is some guy bidding into, absorbing someone's sells. Just to me, looking at the wicks here, seeing that we've run these lows and closed back above, it tells me that there is interest to buy at this price. That's all that means to me. Every time price downs here, it's getting bid back up. So this is an area that I might be interested in looking and bidding as well. If we are to lose this low, obviously, good chance we are going down here and potentially down lower. So again, very quick summary, looking at the weekly, I'm bidding the fuck out of this if given the opportunity. Looking at the daily, we've got some pretty nice absorption here. After multiple days of down, right? This is 9 straight days of red candles. And we've got a nice 3-day swing failure pattern forming here. We've got a nice double daily swing failure pattern forming here, right? I mean, it's kind of a triple actually. It's closing above all of these lows, right? So very nice absorption here. So to me, this is an area of interest for a long, absolutely. The daily candle closes in about 30 minutes. So I think if you're not in a long already from within this wick, you can zoom in on the low time frame and get in a long. So for now, we're going to be basing this analysis on this area holding for the very least a relief bounce. If it decides that it wants to, continue to run and that was the fucking low, great, I'll be in a long, right? But if it makes a lower low after this, hopefully we can catch some upside. We have pulled back 27%. It's not like this is just a tiny little dump. This is almost kind of a 30% dump, kind of your standard bull market dump. I know there's talks of a weekly RSI bear div. There is some other shit. Maybe this dumps 40%. I don't know. We're just going to play this level to level. So the premise for now is that this is going to hold. So what I'm going to do here, draw out my swing failure pattern. I'm going to zoom in, and now we have the setup that I posted on Twitter, right? So we've got kind of declining, low, or we've got, kind of weaker lows here. We've got declining volume, okay? And we've got kind of your wedge pattern that would kind of signify all of this shit, right? So you've got your, ba-da-da, and then you've got your da-da-da-da-da, right? Falling wedge into support, right? Swing failure pattern into support, falling wedge, declining volume, you know, kind of oversold conditions. You have your 1, 2, 3 drives to the downside. So there's a lot of, you know, kind of clues that we might have some sort of bullish reaction here. So how do you get involved? What's the actual setup, right? Everyone can draw the fucking lines. Everyone can fucking you know, tell you where they think price is gonna go. How do you actually get in the fucking trade? Sorry, one sec here. Okay, for those of you saying that my Prime link is busted, and it's annoying because it's been saying that for a while. Use that link there. Okay, for those of you saying that. Oh god, I'm hearing myself. Use that link there, and I apologize. I know a few people for a while now have been telling me it's busted, so I apologize. If you use that link, that should work. Thank you for pointing that out. So, 3 drives, falling wedge, swing failure patterns, blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is the actual setup? How do we get involved? So this is how I would actually get in to a trade based on all of this analysis, right? Because that's all that matters. Stop, entry, target. How do I actually get involved, and where the fuck am I aiming? So I would use the H4 here, but you could also use the H1. To me, the most obvious target, just looking at price here, is these highs right here. So these are effectively equal highs, right? Effectively equal highs. That seems like the most obvious draw. We also have, you know, this is just below kind of a bearish order block here. You know, we've got resistance here kind of in the form of this kind of up move before this dump. But this looks like an easy area to target for a long here. So how am I going to get into this trade? Well, I've already longed some Ethereum just off of the lows. I'll cover that in a bit. But on Bitcoin here, this is a 4-hour breaker. Okay, so this up candle is the one that caused the down move that swept this low. Okay, and it swept this low into demand right here. I'm not going to draw that all the way out, but if you just imagine, right, I will draw it all the way out just so you can see. So it's into demand. So there's multiple pieces of kind of confluence lining up for this setup, right? So falling wedge, 3 drives, declining volume, you know, 9 days of selling in a row, daily and 3-day swing failure pattern, weekly, you know, kind of rate of the lows, lots of things lining up. Now we have some sort of setup here on the H4 contextualized to actually enter the trade. So when we want to get in, the way that you trade this breaker, first you want to see the low get taken, and then you want to see the move back through the breaker candle. So that's what we're seeing right now. So this candle will close in about 30 minutes, 28 minutes. Once this candle closes, assuming it closes as it has right now. So let's assume this candle closes just like this. You could then enter on market, or you wait for a pullback into the zone, and then the target is at the very least these equal highs. In terms of your stop placement, your stop is either going to go right below the breaker itself or below the most relevant swing low that you think kind of defines the setup. Because if the swing low is taken and we create bearish market structure, the setup is obviously invalid. So let's say you enter here. Your target is going to be these equal highs here. Your stop is either coming under this low, right? Or it's coming right up under the breaker. So right up under the breaker is obviously going to give you the best R. Maybe you gave it a little bit of breathing room, but that's at least a 2R trade, in my opinion, depending on where you get in, right? You could zoom in, dial it in a little bit more, but to me, this is a pretty clean setup. This is one of my go-to setups in terms of entry technique, coupled with the confluence of where we're looking for the setup. Not every breaker is going to be a good entry, right? But this is a breaker taking a key high time frame low into demand. You've got the 3 drives, the declining volume, the falling wedge, all of those pieces of the puzzle adding up. That, to me, I believe it makes this a higher probability setup and one that I'm interested in taking. So that's essentially the exact trade that I'm looking for on Bitcoin here, right? We've got our drives down. If this confirms as a breaker, I'm looking to get in here, targeting up here with my stop probably down here. What I would likely do, because I do think we are still potentially bearish, right? Bearish market structure here, right? This is a lower low at the end of the day on the H4. Is you take some off here and then you either put your stop to break even or you trail your stop up to relevant swing lows on the way up. Where would I kind of consider this downtrend to be over? I would want to see this daily level get flipped. So we have this daily SR here, right? And then we also have a swing high here on the daily. That's your daily bullish market structure level. Above there, the low is in, right? If we do something like this and we get above here, the low is in and we're going to like 75K. Until then, any sort of move back up here could just be a retracement before another leg down. So you have to be aware of that. So you can see that's way the fuck up there. And our target is well before that. Our target is here, right? Because what could happen is we could be right on this trade, right? And then we could do this. So you got to just be prepared for anything. That's why I'm just paying this level to level. But I've given you the exact setup here, and then this area right here, this swing high coupled with this block here, that's exactly where I flip full-blown bull, retard bull, we're going to the fucking moon again. Versus potentially, you know, not that I'm not bullish here, but like this, to me, the bottom is 100% in my books. Could be wrong. That's just kind of how I see it. So hopefully that setup makes sense. That's about as easy as it can be in terms of explanation, from top-down analysis to your actual execution. Where does your stop go? Where does your entry go? Where does your target go? All laid out there for you. So you could dial this in, right, to something like this. I mentioned you can zoom in and make it a little tighter. This could be a 1 hour breaker play, right? So you could use this as your breaker and use this as your entry, right? And then stop either here or down here. And this is just going to give you tighter risk reward, right? The lower the time frame, generally that means that your entry is going to be a little bit more dialed in. And then potentially means that you can get a tighter risk reward because your entry is going to be closer to your stop, you know, kind of giving you maybe a higher multiple, right? So if we have, let's say we enter on this pullback, target still there, even at the swing low, we're at a fucking, you know, higher R, almost 2, and then below the breaker, even with a little bit of room, much higher risk reward, right? But I like the H4 in this instance, so that is what I would be using for the setup here. So we want to see how this daily candle closes. I don't want it to close how it's closing now. Ideally, I want to see it close strong through this area, break these highs, give me a little pullback, and then that's what I would be looking for to punt this setup. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Okay, cool. Glad that makes sense, guys. Yeah, I see some questions in here. It looks like most of them got answered about declining volume. So these guys nailed it here. Danny answered that correctly. Cool. Glad that's crystal clear. So Bitcoin done and dusted, right? Again, if we're wrong, where are we looking? You know, where are we looking? Again, we're looking down here. Okay? So if we're wrong, we look at 32 through 38. If we're right, we're taking some off here and trailing stops. And if we're super right and the bottom is in and it resumes up only, it's going to happen above here, right? Once we get above here, then that's your longs, compound season, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. Cool. So let's look at Ethereum next. I'm going to look at Ethereum on another exchange because I want to see the price history. God, where did I get that sneaky level from? Okay. So we'll look at Ethereum next here. So Ethereum, for someone who has around 5 BTC, if you're in my position, how are you diversify your portfolio? HODL versus trade with both strategies, partitioning of BTC and F. Farhan, I'm never going to tell you what to do with your money. The fact that you're asking me what to do with your 5 BTC, which is like $250,000, worries me and tells me that you have no idea what you're doing, right? How do you have that much money in crypto and don't know what you're doing? My suggestion, because I don't give advice, for anyone who doesn't know what they're doing is to not trade. If you do not know what you're doing, you're going to lose money trading. The amount of people who ask me about like what is risk management, how does margin trading work and shit, if you don't know those things, you should not be doing it. 99% of you will not make any money. You will actually lose all of your money, more than likely. Most people are better off just holding their investments and maybe systematically buying and selling based on the high time frame. But even then, most people are going to fuck that up trying to time the market. If you don't know the basics, if you don't understand this kind of stuff, you should not be trading, right? Like you're asking some random stranger on the internet what to do with your 250 grand. My God. Do not ask me. Go ask a fucking professional. I am not a professional. And if you have that much money involved in the market, maybe spend some time studying and learning what the fuck you're doing. I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just trying to be real with you because there's idiots on here who will tell you what to do. There's going to be idiots on here who are going to be like, oh, put all your money in this coin. Put all your money in here. Don't listen to those fucking people, okay? The fact that you have 5 Bitcoin, which is $250,000 fucking dollars, is fantastic. Don't fuck it up by putting it on Binance or Prime or put it on Prime using my link, but then don't do anything with it. But don't fucking blow it by putting it on one of these exchanges and start punting around with leverage or shipping it in a bunch of altcoins if you don't know what you're doing. What got you here in the first place? Maybe continue that, but I don't think anyone should be trading until they have a very firm grasp of the basics, because that's a lot of money. I don't care how much you believe in Bitcoin. 250 grand is 250 grand, man. That's a lot of money. That's life-changing for a lot of people. Don't go fuck it up by trying to margin trade or punting it into some altcoin hoping you get a 5x. Rant over. Full-blown Canadian with the lumberjack shirt. Yeah, you like this, don't you? Are you going to talk about altcoins? I will talk about a few. Super helpful. You're welcome, Odysseus. Can you briefly check out LTC? I will look at LTC. LTC's market structure is very similar to Bitcoin, so just keep that in mind. This guy says, house prices being so expensive. Do you ever think you'll own a home? Yes, I fully intend on buying a house, but yeah, houses are expensive. You could always, rent where you live and then buy a rental property somewhere more inexpensively, right? And use that rental income to, facilitate and fund your lifestyle. RR is risk reward. Cool. Okay. So, anyways, let's get into Ethereum here. So Ethereum's market structure, similar to Bitcoin, right? We've got a huge, ugly weekly candle. What looks even worse on Ethereum is the monthly. So I posted this yesterday, and it's obviously recovered a bit. It's up about $100, but this looks very, very ugly on the monthly, right? The Bitcoin monthly doesn't look amazing, but at least it has this big body here before the wick. And we had a similar monthly candle last month. You know, and it obviously rallied the next month. So I'm not saying this is the top for Ethereum by any means. But you know, you can't look at me with a straight. I can't look at you with a straight face and say this is a good-looking monthly candle. It's not. But I would not be surprised if this is some massive psyop before, you know, continued upside. So with that being said, you know, you go down to the weekly. Still kind of ugly, but you know, kind of what we have going for it here is we've already tapped this weekly demand, right? So we've come into this weekly demand, we've hit it, and we've gotten a reaction. Bitcoin has not tapped its weekly demand. Ethereum already has. So I'm not trying to say that that's bullish or bearish, but I'm just saying that there's support here. And if you're an Ethereum bull, you better hope that this support holds, because the next support is quite a bit lower. So this is an area that I would ideally like to see on Ethereum hold. So whatever Bitcoin decides it wants to do, I would like to see Ethereum hold this area at the very least, and go sideways, or, you know, obviously reverse off of here, because, you know, this is key. And below here, you know, I guess I would look at probably, I don't know what happened to my favorites bar with all my favorite tools. There it is. Look at that. Look at me figuring things out. Amazing. You know, these are the next two areas of interest for me on Ethereum below here. So, I mean, we already tested this area, right? Consolidation and a test there. So, I mean, if we come down here, maybe we get a quick wick to, you know, 900 to $1,000. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's possible, right? So just be prepared. Anything is possible. And similar to Bitcoin, we're just going to play this level to level. We're not just going to assume that the bottom is in and that we're going to go straight up from here. We're going to, you know, look for a potential long if it's available. And then we're going to play this level to level, taking profit at logical areas, and then, you know, being prepared for price to continue going down, because the market structure for now, you know, if you zoom in, is bearish. So going into the daily, right, you can see here we have big move into that weekly demand, right? Nice wick up here. You can see those two levels I had marked earlier, how well they kind of encapsulate that range there. But this is kind of, you know, where Ethereum got bearish, is here, right? So until we're trading above here, really, this is downside market structure, right? That's now a lower low. So the question is, do we make a lower high, right? Or do we reclaim this and then push up higher? So similar to Bitcoin at about, you know, kind of 51.8. This would be, or 51.5, excuse me, this would kind of be my Ethereum, you know, area of interest for the bottom being in, you know, and this being just kind of, you know, the dip before, you know, a flip. Is this swing high here, you know, is where I want to see price get back above, right around 16 to 1700. Back above there, then I think the low is in and we're going higher. But until then, you know, what we could be doing is putting in a lower high. So you just want to be careful, but similar to Bitcoin, we're seeing a big move to the downside, and we're seeing, you know, very nice buyback here that is going to close in about 13 minutes to be precise. So similar to Bitcoin, right, we have a big swing failure pattern of that low. We have a big swing failure pattern of this low. So we've got some absorption happening here, and similar to Bitcoin, we can use the exact same premise to enter a trade using that same breaker setup, right? So we're going to zoom in here a little bit more. Let's see, where do I like it? I guess you could argue here. Or sorry, first thing I want to do is mark the low. Then I want to zoom in. Okay. So here's your breaker right here. Okay. So I'm going to delete this weekly demand. But remember, just like on Bitcoin, we had the sweep into daily demand. Now we have a sweep occurring into weekly demand. So having that sweep into this weekly demand here, you get a breaker here. Down move, right? That took out the low. We've now closed back through it. Technically, you could have entered right away on a close of this candle. We might still get a pullback, and that would be the setup that I'm trading. You know, similarly to Bitcoin, what do I see here? I see a couple of highs that are untouched. They're not equal highs, but they're untouched highs right into resistance, right? So this is my resistance where I think a lower high might form. And if I pull my fib from here to here, you can see we get that 79% pullback there as well. This would be kind of my target for this trade, right? Take some off here, add back on a flip of this zone. But this would be my target. This would be my entry. Stop would be either here or here. Okay. Excuse me. That gives you a 2R, right? 2.5R with your stop there. If you put your stop right below the breaker, you get obviously a much higher risk reward, but I would probably want to give it a little bit of breathing room. You could zoom in on the hourly, and you could probably dial this in even lower, right? You could say this is your breaker here, okay? And you could enter like this, right? And now you've got a 2.8R, right? And then stop here, got even tighter R. So we can see just low time frame here, you can see a little bit of a rejection, right? Look at Bitcoin, we see the same thing. So this is going to be kind of how you get involved. Here I want to ideally see us break above the breaker, right? If we don't close through the breaker, this entry is not valid yet. I need to see a close through here and then a pullback. Ethereum's a little different. Ethereum, we've already got the close through on the H4 as well, right? So the Ethereum trade I think looks a little better to me. But we've got the close through here. The breaker is live now on this candle close, right? So any sort of pullback in here, that's where I'm a buyer, targeting these highs here. So same setup as Bitcoin effectively, breaker into lows, into a key low, into high time frame demand, yada, yada, yada. That's the trade I'm looking for on Ethereum on the long side. If we are to lose this 1360 area, and trade below here, stopping out this area, I'm looking to bid into probably right down here. Next, this would be the next area of interest for me. Probably right around here, 1220 would be the next area where I'm looking to buy. Right, so this setup that I just showed you right here, that's exactly what happened right here. Right, so you have your breaker candle, right? Sweep the low, reclaim the breaker. That could have been your entry, or maybe you're waiting, right? And maybe you get in after it breaks market structure, which happens here, right? And then it pulls back again. Boom, that's your entry. You can see what's going on here. So I want to see essentially this exact setup play out here. This is exactly what we're looking for, is this exact same setup. Breaker, retest, boom, or wait for the break in market structure. So in this instance, right, the market structure to me could end up being, it's probably one of these highs, but you could arguably wait for this, right? But I'm getting in a little tighter. I would get in on this bounce once you have confirmation and you have the close through. So looks pretty good to me. Looks very similar to Bitcoin in terms of the way that I'm trying to get involved. Okay. Okay. I appreciate you, Kirk. Thanks for tuning in, bro. What the fuck? You're welcome. This is not advice. Remember that. None of this is advice. So you're going to enter BTC long on the stream if the H4 closes nicely. Yeah, if it closes nicely. It doesn't look like it's going to right now, though. It's looking like it's going to close kind of ugly. Not ugly, but it's not going to give me the setup here. But if it does give me the setup, right, if we close through here, I'll enter the trade. Does the monthly ETH doji count as a gravestone doji? I don't know. I guess technically, sure, but it's not something I'm paying attention to personally. It doesn't look good, right? So I want to see that wick get filled in, sooner than later, because it looks hideous. Bro, why are you the only CT account that lost money on the drop? Probably, maybe because I suck. I don't know. Maybe because I'm one of the only CT accounts that will actually talk about losing money. Most of the people on Twitter don't ever talk about their losses. That I'm not saying everyone. There are some guys who do. I know Gainsey talks about losing money. I know guys like Loomdart talk about losing money. Like, there are a lot of great traders on there that are real. But most of CT is a bunch of LARPs, right? So they'll never talk about losing. They'll always talk about how they hedged the top and how they caught the bottom and everything in between, every single trade in between. You would swear with how good some of these guys are at trading, that's just a matter of time before they have all of the money and all of the Bitcoin in the world. But yeah, I talk about losing money on shit because that's what happened. I fucking lost money. I made mistakes, right? I've been doing this for a long time. And I still do dumb shit that, like, I know better than. It's like when you go golfing, right? Like, I know what I'm supposed to do. Golfing maybe not be the best example because it's, like, really fucking hard, but trading is really fucking hard. But, like, I know when I'm swinging, I need to keep my eye on the ball, right? And I need to keep my club face, flush. Because if I open up my club face, it's going to slice. I know that, right? And I know what to do to make sure it stays proper. Doesn't mean I do it every time, right? It's no different for trading. I know that I'm supposed to, use a stop and not risk more than, 1 to 3% on a trade. But I don't do that every time. Sometimes I get past my risk limits. Sometimes I hold on to losers. Sometimes I double down on losers. Sometimes I don't TP at my TP and I TP early because I'm trading my P&L. It's constant evolution, right? Trading is not one of those things, I think, where you're like, okay, I figured it out, and you never change. I think there's a constant learning process and a constant evolution, and I'm a student of the game. Absolutely. I make money, fortunately, thank goodness, or else what the fuck am I doing here? But I lose money too, and I make dumb mistakes, and I try and keep it real with you guys. Because it's why lie about shit? It's way easier to remember the truth than it is to fucking be like, oh, did I long there? Oh, but you said you were short, or blah blah blah. It's like, well, whatever. Like, I get shit wrong. It happens. Problem is if BTC falls to its weekly support, most likely it will drag down ETH, making it go below its weekly support. Well, we're gonna look at Ethereum BTC and determine exactly what the fuck's gonna happen. Hopefully. Maine, you are the realest I've ever seen. Great advice. Not advice. Thank you, though. What price level is what? Your neck looks bullish. Thanks, bro. BTC about to close like shit. I don't think this is that bad. But I would have liked it to have closed through here. Still got a little time. I'd like it to close a couple $100 higher. But again, I'm still leaning bearish, right? Like, if you look at just this, right? Like, this is a lot of absorption into here. So a relief bounce to at least, kind of up here is the plan, but it doesn't mean it has to happen, right? This is bearish market structure, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high potentially, right? This is bearish market structure. So I would not be surprised at all if we just continue to trade down. But hoping for a little bit of a relief bounce just based on all of those things I talked about at the start of the video. Follow up, where are your accolades, Bubba? Listen, I've paid more in tax than you've ever traded in your entire career. Bubba? That's an ICT reference. Okay, another fake out for BTC, I guess. This is brutal. Kodabra, you're fucking weird. He says, is Hasaka aware that you stole his chart theme? If Hasaka wants to come and fight me, tell him to bring it. No, Hasaka's a friend of mine, so I don't think he cares. I've fucked around with chart themes. I was the black and white guy for a while, but it just hurts my eyes, man. Like, especially with how much time I spend on screen at night. Which is more and more now because it gets dark so early during the winter. It just was burning the fuck out of my eyes, so I much prefer the black background. I'm very accustomed to it now. Can't see the numbers on my phone. Where does ETH need to hold? Look, I don't know, bro. Like, it's the things I do for these people, man. I'm looking to enter ETH around like 1370. ETH already closed as a breaker, right? So I'm looking along a pullback like that. But you can watch this later after this is done and copy the trade if you want. I suggest you do your own analysis and shit and just use this as confluence, right? Added information. We got 1 minute left to the close here. Longing here seems too easy. Crowded trade, bull trap. Possible, right? Very possible. This could just fucking turn around and nuke. Anything is possible. All I'm doing is making an educated guess with defined risk and defined reward, and then you live with the results. That's all trading is. You're betting. You're taking a bet, but at least instead of gambling where, you know, the odds are generally against you in most games, you can potentially tilt the odds slightly in your favor with TA and all of these confluences. But yeah, it's just a bet. I don't know. I could be wrong. What are your thoughts about the potential monthly SFP on ETH? I mean, I think the monthly on ETH looks terrible. I wouldn't consider this an SFP though. It already SFP'd. Last month it SFP'd, right? This was a swing failure pattern here, right? And then look what happened the next month. So I don't think I wouldn't call that an SFP. Okay, let's see how we closed here. So we closed just below the breaker, right? So for me to now enter this trade, I want to see an H4 candle close above here, right? And then pull back. Whereas on Ethereum, it already happened, right? We already had the close above the breaker. So now the pullback is along. So we'll see what happens here, but the premise of the trade idea remains the same. I think this is a breaker play, and I do think we go and attack, and stab at these highs. I mean, if you play it on the 1 hour, you could argue that the trade is live on the 1 hour. But I'm playing it on the H4. But the target remains the same. I think we're going here. But yeah, I mean, technically you could enter on the 1 hour, as soon as we took out, I guess, this high here, because that's your market structure. That's the high that took out the low, right? There's your market structure. We closed through, came back, retest. So technically the H1 breaker has already been tagged, right? Already been tagged. So technically you could, have entered on the H1. I'm looking at the H4, so I need to see the H4 candles do what I want. But the H1 setup, I guess you could say technically has tagged in already. So we'll wait and see. I'm not in a huge rush to get in. So yeah, okay. This guy says ugly daily close inbound. I don't know, man. I think that's an okay daily close. We closed as a swing failure pattern of a bunch of lows here. That's also a weekly close and a monthly close, right? Weekly close right there. Monthly, yikes. So we'll see. We shall see. Can I give you a quick terminology cheat sheet? Yes, I can. Here are the main terms that I use. HFs, that means have fun staying poor. No, I'm just kidding. So OB, order block. Okay? MS, market structure. Okay? HTF, high time frame. LTF, low time frame. RR, risk reward. I don't know if I used any other ones. OHLC, open, high, low, close of a candle. I don't really use any other ones than that, to be honest with you. Those are kind of probably my main terms. How could Saylor allow this? I ask myself this every day. If BTC looks bad, isn't that a deal breaker for the F long? I mean, yeah, I guess, but like you guys are missing the point here, right? The whole setup is based on the swing failure pattern of the lows. It closed as a swing failure pattern, right? So this is a daily SFP. Don't get lost in the sauce looking at the 1 minute chart, wondering what the fuck's gonna happen, right? As long as this low holds, the setup is technically valid. Based on what I kind of lined out. So don't worry about it too much, right? You've got to determine what is your setup and where is your setup wrong, and then eliminate everything else from your mind. Nothing else fucking matters. Main, are you a pure PA? Do you consider external factors? Some FA people suggest this was catalyzed by rising bond yield. So I'm primarily a PA trader, but I absolutely will consider some other things like the dollar index, the strength of the dollar, right? Strength of the dollar being tied to what happens in Bitcoin. I will look at things like bonds. I will look at things like the stock market and whether or not it is looking bullish or bearish and what I expect it to do. And how that might have an effect on Bitcoin. So absolutely, I look at these things and I consider them, but I don't use them as kind of a be-all, end-all, right? Primarily, Bitcoin price action first. Everything else is secondary. Farhan, he's back. He says, I understand all that. I've been trading and holding. I was just interested in your portfolio diversification strategy, percentage-wise, relative to an amount I can relate to. The main things that I hold are Bitcoin and Ethereum. From a spot perspective, I don't really hold very many altcoins. I have a few, not that many. My main holds are Bitcoin and Ethereum, but my cost of entry on these things is very low, right? Like I'm in Bitcoin from under 10K, I'm in Ethereum from under $200, right? So keep that in mind. I've been doing this for some time now, right? Some people who come into the game later, the barrier to entry is a lot higher. So I get altcoins, but I am by no means an altcoin expert or anything of the sort. I am not the person to ask about, what altcoin should I be buying, what altcoin should I be selling. I'm going to be learning and trying to do better with that stuff, but it is not my forte by any means. 4-hour failing. What does the monthly F candle count as? I don't know. I think you asked that already. LTC, please. Sure. Trader Main, you domain, Main. Thanks, bro. Are you a multimillionaire? Nice try, IRS. Does the shirt close around the neck? I don't think so. I can do up this one. But I don't think I can do the top button. No. No. Top button's not getting done. Neck is too thick. Realness 100, Main a real one. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thoughts on Philiconin. Fuck Philiconin. Part of the game, exactly. It's like golfing when you mistakenly put your back into the swing and not your neck, and then you slice it. Exactly. What's higher, your strike rate or your handicap? Oh, God. Strike rate or handicap? I want to say... I am not a good golfer, but my strike rate is better than my handicap for sure. Because I'm probably I'll probably shoot 100, which is not terrible for a casual, but that's what, a handicap of 28. So my strike rate's higher than 28%. Futures pumping, bro. Shall we all in? So that's a positive sign for sure. If futures are gonna pump, that's good. Are there any books you recommend for technical analysis or trading? I've never read a trading book in my entire life. Do you only trade? Do you have a hold a bag alongside your trading portfolio? I own a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of Ethereum. So yes. Just got back to civilization. General consensus: bearish or bullish? Bearish or bullish? Watch the video, and you will find out. Jesus, what is going on here? The chat gets fucking going here. Sorry. Do I pay attention to the RSI? Not really. Do you work out every day? No, I work out 4 times a week. Man, you rock. I appreciate it. Thank you, bro. That's very nice. This guy says crayons, H4. Let's take a look. Oh, we got a blue boy. We got a blue boy. The thing is you got to be careful, right? This is not enough to do anything, right? What was this? This was the exact same candle. And then look what happened, right? Here's another one, and then look what happened. And here's another one, and then look what happened. So not enough to make a decision off of, but something to watch, I guess, for sure. Potential buying, bull bearish exhaustion happening here. Thanks for putting on the streams. Always swing through for confluence to make sure I'm not enjoying something obvious. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Where in Canada are you from? British Columbia. TA means technical analysis. SFP means swing failure pattern. What happened to my thing? Here we go. TA, technical analysis. PA means price action. What was the other one? SFP, swing failure pattern. Not gonna make it. Have fun staying poor. What do you think about March being historically bearish? I don't pay too much attention to the seasonality of BTC. I'm more interested in just looking at the charts and playing things level to level. I'm not trying to predict where price is going to be 3 months from now. That's not how I trade. I'm much more near-term, short-term trader than that. So I don't really know. I'm very rarely looking beyond the weekly chart, right? And even then, I'm using the weekly chart for support and resistance, not for determining if we're in the next leg of a bull cycle. That's not what I'm best at. I think there's people who are great at being like, based on the yearly chart, we're right here, and that means by the end of next year we're going to be at 300,000. It's like, okay, well, how do you enter a trade based on that information? Do you just buy now and then just hold? Where's that idea wrong? Like, I get that it gets a tons of likes and shit, and it's copium, whatever you want to fucking call it. But like, I'm a trader. How do I get in a trade? And then where's my risk? And then where's my target? That's all I really care about. I should Cardano and chill. Bullish divergence on the H4. LFG means let's fucking go. How do you recognize order blocks? Watch some of my videos. I go over them in detail. You can also look up ICT on YouTube or watch some of my old videos. What type of candles do I use? These are just regular candles. These are just regular candles. DXY looks damn bullish. Yeah, it could be. Any tips on not taking profit too early? I found a lot of my trades work out fully, but I take profits along way too early. I also took a lot of BTC profit at 30K. I guess profit is profit. So that's a great question. So one of the things that I still do to this day is I'll trade my P&L, right? Like, I'll be up a certain amount of dollars and I'll be like, oh fuck, I want to lock that in. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Especially if you're trading size. If you're up 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 on a trade, that's a lot of fucking money. Maybe your target is 150,000, right? But to me, like, I once I started trading bigger, I started trading my P&L way more, right? Because I started thinking in terms of, well, what the fuck can this money buy me? But technically, right, if you're there's a couple of things, right? From kind of just like a pure technical level, if you're taking profit too early, that could mean a few things. Maybe your take profit level is too far away, right? So maybe price is getting close to your take profit level and then pulling back. So you're taking profit early because it never gets there. Right? So maybe you need to adjust where that level is. You mentioned that it usually does take profit, hit profit. You're just closing early. Well, why are you doing that? Are you risking too much and you're worried about giving back your unrealized P&L? If so, risk less. Maybe move your stop up to break even. That way, instead of taking profit, move your stop up to break even, so you have no risk of loss. Instead of taking profit, maybe take some of your trade off and let some of it stay on till the TP. Take off 25 or 50%. That way, you've locked in some gains. Trail your stop up to previous SR, so you know that you're not going to give back all of that money that you're up. So there's lots of different things that you can do. Profit is profit at the end of the day. No one went broke taking profit. But yeah, do some kind of thinking, journaling, write down, why are you exiting here, right? And if you're exiting before your TP, why? You got to know why. And if there's a reason that is consistent, you can then, find that in your journal and then, find a way around it with some of those things I just suggested. Okay. What province are you from? This guy's trying to find out where I live, man. First he says, where are you in Canada? Now he wants to know what province I'm from. Next he's going to ask what city. Bro, what are you trying to do? You trying to come kidnap me? Your name is the real cancer of YouTube. So here we go. This is looking okay. Right? Ethereum. So the H4, right, the Ethereum H1 and the H4, right, it's running away from us. So this is what I meant by you can enter on the market, right? So when this candle closed here, you technically could have entered, right? You technically could have entered as soon as this candle closed, but we're going to wait, right? We're going to be patient. I'm going to have bids set on Ethereum. And I'm going to have bids set on Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin, I want to see move above here and then pull back, and then I'll get in. Thick neck. Do I live in the U.S.? No. High quality memes. Okay. God, I can't even keep up with the chat. You guys are nuts. Okay, I'm gonna do. This is already over an hour, so I'm gonna do Ethereum BTC next, and then I'm probably gonna cover like Litecoin or something, and then I'm gonna call it because I don't want this to be a 2-hour video. Okay, you're the man. Thank you. Can you chart Doc? Do I think ad is a scam? No. Your eyes are not actually lasers. No, they're not. What car do you drive? I drive an Audi. What kind of questions are these? Leafs or Habs? Neither. Canucks. What can you deadlift? My max deadlift is like 450 pounds for one, and it's an absolute struggle. I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm kind of over deadlifting. Like, I don't know what else there is to achieve. And I feel like at the weight that I'm starting to lift, anytime I start deadlifting like over 315 pounds, like over 3 plates, I feel like I'm like very, I'm one bad move away from completely destroying my back. It just doesn't seem worth it. Okay. Some of these questions are funny. Why do I praise Caz? Caz is someone I learned a lot from. He's a very strong personality, to say the least, and I know he's not very well liked on most of Twitter. And, he might tell you that's because of racism. Some might say, well, that's because he's just a dick to everyone. I'm not here to make an opinion on that. My relationship with Caz was that of a student / mentor. He taught me a lot early on in my trading career, so I respect him for that. But that's about all I got to say. Okay, so do I know Salsa Tequila? We're in a couple Discords together. I'd say he's a homie. Okay, anyways, getting a little pumpy pump action here. So we'll see, right? If the next if the next pullback, right, gives us an entry, we're going to get long. But regardless, this is the draw. I'm pretty confident that we trade into here on Bitcoin pretty soon. Okay. So let's look at FBTC here. This is the chart that never bottoms. So I have been talking about this chart for fucking ever, trying to catch the bottom on it. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to all your questions, guys, but I know people get bored of me just reading the chat. Y'all are here for the chart. So where are my levels coming from, right? So I have this level of interest here from the monthly, okay? So this is a monthly bullish order block here that we're retesting right now. So to me, that's a key level of interest, okay? Then I zoom down to the 3-day, and basically I'm going to be marking, or is this from the weekly? Yeah, this is the weekly SR. What the fuck is this level? Oh no, I don't even like this level anymore. Fuck that level. Okay, so zooming into the 3-day, you can see we have our monthly bullish order block open here, okay? And then we have this 3-day bullish order block that is layered on top of that open. So to me, this is an area where price could potentially bottom. Again, I'm still hoping it bottoms. It hasn't really shown me that it wants to yet. We've also got a nice deep move right into the 62, just shy of the 70.5 on the retracement here. Okay, so this is where I'm hoping we get a bottom here on FBTC. And if this bottoms out and this starts to turn around, I think that's generally going to be great for Ethereum as a whole and for the rest of altcoins, right? If this thing can finally fucking bottom, a lot of altcoins are going to start looking a lot better. Not that some of them don't look good, some of them look great, but I think it'll be just good for the market as a whole. Okay, so boom, nice touch there. Okay, we're seeing some potential signs of buyers stepping in here, right? So we have a little tiny swing failure pattern that just closed on the daily, right? So what is the exact setup that we just did on Bitcoin, that we just did on Ethereum? Well, guess what? You can do the exact same thing here on FBTC as a potential long, right? So you have your breaker right here. I said you have your breaker right here. Boom. Right? There's the up candle that caused the sweep within high time frame demand. Now I want to see a reclaim, right? So first I want to see a break in market structure, then I want to see a pullback, and then I want to see a move away. And looking at FBTC, we have some untapped highs here. This high is untagged, this high is untagged. So we have a bunch of highs kind of right up in this section here that I think are ripe for getting run. This sell-off has been quite steep as well, right? So you have this very steep sell-off here, right? And then it's starting to flatten out a little bit. Still too early to tell, but this would be kind of a potential situation that I'm looking for on FBTC to play out. Sweep into high time frame demand, essentially the exact setup that I'm trading on Ethereum and on Bitcoin itself. So let's wait and see if this plays out. This playing out would be bullish for altcoins in general, I think. So really hoping this thing fucking bottoms here, because it's been an absolute bitch. Just watching this thing just melt lower and lower. And the fact that this chart did so horribly in the month of February is the exact reason why the monthly candle on Ethereum looks like absolute dog shit, right? So there's your correlation. So hopefully this is not just a bearish retest and another low. Really hoping we can start making some bullish price action here and start moving up on Ethereum BTC. This shitcoin eventually, I think, is going to go to here. It's just a matter of time, because this is still bullish, right? This is an uptrend. As much as it's painful and it's slow, this is an uptrend. It's just taking a long ass time, right? Everyone thought Ethereum BTC was dead here, right? And then what did it do? It made a higher high, right? Everyone thinks it's dead. What's it going to do? It's going to make a higher high. It's just a matter of time. So that's how I'm hoping to play this thing. Okay, and that's some real fucking alpha for you guys. This is the exact setup I use every single day to get in trades on crypto and on Forex. I use this exact setup, this exact kind of high time frame to lower time frame breakdown. And I've laid it out for you guys with stop, entry, target, how to define where your stop goes, why, how you get in, why, what is the context, why does it make sense, where you target. So hopefully you guys appreciate that shit, because some people will charge you money to learn this. Okay. Let's see here. Nobody, you guys just love the neck, man. The fucking neck. It's so funny. Curious about stop losses during the correction. This correction, getting wrecked. Want to be better about stops. Any tips? Yeah, use them, right? Put them in the area where your trade idea is wrong, right? So let's say you're going to enter on this breaker that I just talked about here. Okay? Fuck off with your motherfucking thing. Let's say you're going to enter here. Is your trade wrong if price comes here or here? Right? Where is your trade wrong? For me, generally, it's this low. As long as this low holds, my idea is right. So as long as this low holds, that's where my stop goes. So I determine where my stop goes based on technical analysis, not based on, the calculator saying, well, I only want to lose 2%, so my stop goes here. First, you figure out on the chart, where is your idea wrong? That's where your stop goes. You then take that, you input it into your calculation to determine, okay, if my stop is here and my entry's here, how big of a position can I put on to make sure I'm only risking 1, 2, or 3% of my account, whatever you decide that to be. So use stops and use them like that. Watch Crypto Cred series on risk management. There you go. There you go. What do I think about the correlation between the dollar index and Bitcoin? I think it's relevant. I think people who say it's not relevant are stupid. I don't think they're stupid. I just think they don't know anything. That's saying the same thing. I don't think that they don't know anything. I just think that they're being ignorant. When people say correlation, they want to be like 1-to-1. Right? That's what everyone wants. They're like, well, look, Bitcoin went down and dollar went up. Therefore, correlation isn't true. It's like, well, that would be actually true about the correlation. Fucking hell. Okay. God damn it. Motherfucking shit. Okay. No one can tell me that there is not... Fuck this motherfucking thing. God damn it. Okay, no one can tell me that there is not a correlation between these two assets when, first of all, Bitcoin is traded against the dollar. So it's 1/2 of the fraction. So of course there's a fucking correlation. And when it's super obvious in the charts, right? Where is the top on Bitcoin here? Right? Here's the top of the 2017 bull run to 20K. Look what happened on the dollar. It bottomed right at that same time. Look at the coronavirus bottom on Bitcoin. Look what happened on the dollar. It topped, right? Look at the preceding run we've had on Bitcoin. Look what's happened to the dollar in that same time. So the correlation is absolutely there, and I think it's silly to think otherwise, but it's not always going to be a 1-to-1, like the dollar went up today, therefore Bitcoin has to go down. Okay, it's not that simple, but the correlation is real. And yes, I pay attention to it, just like I pay attention to the correlation with the stock market. Where do I recommend learning money management? There's tons of great videos on YouTube. There's tons of great books that you can look into for that kind of stuff. I mean, it depends what you mean by money management. If you're just wondering how to do a budget and, basic finances and shit like that, I think, unfortunately, I feel like that's something that should be taught in high school. Instead of having to do fucking biology 12, if you never plan on going into the sciences, you should learn about how to get a visa and how to fucking what a mortgage is and what compound interest is and how investments work. Like, I feel like that should be a university course. But yeah, I would use YouTube. There's tons of great stuff on there. You know, maybe I'll do a video series on the basics of money management. Max rep pull-ups. I'm in a bulk right now. I'm bulking. My bulk has been slow lately though. I've been not eating as much as I should, so I've lost a few pounds. But I don't know. I can probably do like fucking 8 to 10. Not very many. I'm kind of fat. Tits or ass? Ass, I guess. Love your streams. Thanks, Elizabeth. Check out FTM. See, now Bitcoin looks nice. The same people telling us Bitcoin looks shitty are now saying it looks nice. Funny how that switches very quickly, hey? Okay, God. Okay, I can't keep up to the charts, the chats here too much. So I'm very quickly going to hyperspeed cover Litecoin. And then I'm going to cover DOT because someone has asked, and then I'm going to call it because this video is already an hour and 20 minutes, and I really want to try and get these things to be a little bit shorter. So the Litecoin price action, I think, actually looks great. Out of all of the coins, I like this one the most. So this is very similar to Bitcoin, right? Like if you compare this to Bitcoin, it's very similar. In that we've had this huge move, right? But on Litecoin, we've come back and retested the weekly demand. Bitcoin, we never did. So I think Litecoin looks pretty good. I think that this is, a very nice area for price to be finding support into right here, into this weekly demand. So I think Litecoin looks good. I'm bullish on Litecoin. We're in testing this weekly demand, right? This is the origin of this last move up. I think Litecoin, Bitcoin is bottomed out. And also, this thing hasn't, even gotten to all-time high yet. This is a chart I posted on Twitter fucking ages ago. So you can see we're coming in, we're retesting this area, right? We rejected at, 225, which is from right here. Just about hit the EQ of this order block here. And I'm still expecting this thing to go to 300 and beyond. So I'm quite bullish on Litecoin. You zoom into the daily, we're finding support into an area of interest. And again, we have absorption, right? Swing failure pattern, swing failure pattern. So looking good to me. I think Litecoin is good to go as long as it holds above here, really, right? Like if you're trading this as a swing, right? If this is a swing trade, right? You're entering here. Right now, your stop is here, right? And your target is here. Like this is a legit swing for Litecoin that I think is not even a joke. I think this is a perfectly fine trade, and I'm pretty confident that this plays out here in the coming weeks, assuming Bitcoin doesn't shit the bed, right? If Bitcoin finds its bottom, fully expecting something like this to play out on Litecoin. But if you want to get a little more technical, you want to zoom in and you want to get a little bit of a tighter entry, yada, yada, yada. Very similar setup to Bitcoin, right? There's your breaker right there. So Litecoin actually has already made the play. So if you look here, there's your breaker, right? Already broke market structure and it's pushing up, right? If we get a little pullback here, I think you enter. Here's your sweep of the key low, right? So if you get a pullback here on Litecoin, I think you enter, and I think you target at the very least right in here, right? We basically came back, boom, just about came back and tagged in right there. Yeah, I mean, look, on the hourly, you got a pullback there. But yeah, this is the same setup. Ethereum, BTC, Litecoin, they're all giving the exact same setup on that breaker. So that looks good to me. LTC, BTC, the chart that will never die, that will never bottom. Oops. So again, we've had, this constant selling, constant downward pressure into monthly demand. So expecting a bottom to form soon. And then we've had multiple sweeps, right? We're sweeping weekly level after week. You know, we swept here, right? Got a bounce, but then we're back. So now I'm gonna move this right to here. We have a new weekly swing failure pattern that is played out, right? Last one failed, made a lower high again. So this is eventually gonna just explode, right? Like I'm pretty confident that this eventually just breaks out here and goes ham, but it's just a matter of time. But for now, right, we need to see some sort of, bullish PA, form on the low time frame, and we don't have that quite yet. I would want to see Litecoin BTC move up from right here. I don't really want to see it get below this low. If it gets below this low, Litecoin is going to underperform Bitcoin probably for the month of March. But I wouldn't mind, we've got a similar kind of thing here. Here's your breaker. We closed above. We're back inside the breaker now. So I would want it to hold this low here to get a move up and finally out of this consolidation. But or accumulation, suppression, I don't even know what to call this, but I eventually think that this, constant selling right into the origin monthly demand eventually is going to lead to a bounce, right? And that's what happens on Litecoin. You see this constant sell-off and then boom. So I'm expecting something similar, right? Constant sell-off, boom. Huge amount of sell-off, so I'm hoping we get a big reaction here soon. But nothing yet, but I'm hoping that we get some sort of catalyst here on the low time frame in the form of bullish price action, right? So first thing that needs to happen, this is the H4 chart and it's bearish, is we got to take out like this high right here, right? So we can get above here, right? Then we're looking potentially promising that we might, be able to go attack this high. But for now, still kind of looks like shit, but it's I'm hoping it bounces soon. I'm hoping. All right. Okay, very quickly going to look at DOT here. So we'll look at DOT BTC. So pretty clear, right? Breakout, retest, leg up. You now got new demand here that's formed, right? So there's your kind of your SR to kind of determine on the weekly, is this thing still bullish? And it looks pretty good on the BTC pair here. I mean, I guess you could argue potentially, right, that this is some sort of rising wedge. Do these things break out in the bull market? Oftentimes, yes. But just something to be aware of, right? This could always pull back here. But for now, this is very much in an uptrend, right? Looking at the daily, higher highs and higher lows. So there's no reason to fight this thing for now. On the daily, here is your support now, right? Right here. So as long as it holds above here, I'm expecting another leg up on the BTC pair. And I expect that the USD pair probably looks pretty good for that exact reason. So there you go. I don't even remember drawing this, but I haven't touched this since the last time I looked at DOT, right? And this is just daily demand that I've marked out here. And as you can see, boom, into daily demand, right? And we're moving up. So looks okay. Has some work to do. Needs to break out still. But it's starting to look pretty decent, right? You could argue it's broken out. Now it's retesting, so it's coming into resistance here. If I'm trading this thing on the USD pair, that's kind of where I'm bidding, targeting this high, assuming it can obviously take out this high first. But that would be the setup I'm looking for. Nice reaction from daily demand. So yeah, looks pretty good. All right, guys, I'm going to call it here, hour and a half, so a little bit shorter than normal, but I will try and do more altcoins next time. Let me know. Leave comments in the description of this video, guys. Would you rather see shorter streams, like an hour long, but maybe more of them? Or do you guys like the really long weekly stream. Let me know. And I will do my best. Please share this video with your friends. Like, subscribe, retweet it. I really appreciate it. Showing it some love on Twitter. Showing the posts some love on Twitter. It helps me out. Makes me happy. Makes me feel good. Sign up with that Prime XBT link. Thank you so much to them for helping me out. Putting these on for you guys. Smack the like button, please. What do we got here? There you go. 60K calls appearing on BTC. Everyone bought the bottom. Typical, right? Everyone was bearish just yesterday, right? Now everyone's bullish again. Like, I posted that right before Bitcoin and Ethereum broke down, I was like, these look like shit. And the answers to the post were hilarious, right? Sometimes it's funny having a good, big account, because I can get a lot of read on sentiment. Thoughts on LTC, I just did. Thanks, Chad. Muhammad says, do you trade on margins or futures? I generally trade on the perpetuals, but I've traded on futures before. You can avoid funding, but then you have that contango backwardization thing that you obviously have to track. Because there's a settlement date, right? There's no settlement on the perps. That's why they're called perpetuals. That's why there's funding. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks, Mark. What are your thoughts on leverage tokens? Seem like a good alternative. I haven't traded them personally. I have a friend who loves trading like the BTC up and down tokens. He seems to do really well with them. Not something I've used before, so I can't really comment. Did I look at BNBF? No, I did not. I don't think I ever have. Here's a chart telling you whether you should be in BNB or Ethereum. Right now, it looks like you're better off in Ethereum. Right? Why? Look at BNB USD. Right? Versus FUSD. So this just shows that BNB is outperforming Ethereum pretty hard for the last couple of weeks. Okay, sorry guys. I did my best to answer as many questions as I could. So yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully a lot of this made sense to you guys and was helpful. Those setup techniques I showed you on Litecoin, Ethereum BTC, on Bitcoin itself, those work on all markets, on all pairs, on all time frames. You learn that one setup, that's all you need. I'm not saying that's all you need to be profitable, but you don't need 10 different entry techniques. You just need one, right, that you know how to identify every single time. And you can use that I showed you there. And it is a huge tool to your toolkit, right? You use that around your SRs with your indicators. You can combine it with other shit, but that gives you a framework to enter a trade. Stop, entry, target, right? Coda, what's up, dude? How you been? We still got beef, man. You still want to fight? You see how fucking swole I am, bro? Good to see you, homie. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back again soon with another video. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.